After a long and thorough head coaching search that felt like our Seahawks were flirting with every girl at the party, but picking none, they finally put a ring on it, landing the whiz-kid defensive mastermind from the Baltimore Ravens. Make no mistake, Mike Macdonald is the truth. We're in an age where it feels like offenses are ever evolving, adding extra limbs and extremities by the year. Defenses, in contrast, feel stilted, simple, unchanging, predictable. Macdonald's defenses turn those concepts on their face. The Seahawks handed their new head coach a 6-year contract and tasked him with turning around a struggling, broken defense, and this is already the 3rd time he's been tasked to do that in his very short career. Trained at the feet of one of the NFL's true wild child coordinators, Macdonald was schooled in the ways of using pressure and the blitz to create pure and utter chaos. He's the type of gambler who doesn't check his cards until the bet is laid, and you keep thinking he's going all in when he doesn't, until he does when your guard drops, and then he's got you. What I'm trying to say is that Mike Macdonald is the Kenny Rogers of the NFL. It's been a fast and furious ascension for Macdonald. In 2010, he was just getting his start as a graduate assistant at Georgia. 14 years later, he's your Seahawks head coach. The impressive start to Macdonald's feats of accomplishments begins with Ravens coach John Harbaugh having a conversation with his brother Jim, who was head coach at Michigan at the time. Jim's defenses were struggling to get the right kind of schematic answers in this new era of spread concepts. He needed some new blood and bold ideas. The younger Harbaugh gave his linebackers coach, Mike Macdonald, to his big brother to come to Michigan and become their defensive coordinator. But the degree of difficulty was getting turned on up. Mike wasn't just being asked to train the kids on the scheme, system, and techniques. He was also to bring the Michigan defensive staff up to speed at the same time. Train both the students and the teachers. And if you want to see how successful he was in accomplishing that task, just check the national championship the Wolverines just raised, won mainly on the back of Macdonald's vaunted defense. John Harbaugh wasn't letting his brother keep such a bright mind like Macdonald for too long. Like one brother seeing his other brother having a little bit too much fun with his toy, he quickly reminded Jim who Mike belonged to and parted ways with Wink Martindale in 2022, promoting Macdonald to the new man in charge of his defense. Mike didn't miss a beat on his return back to the pros. He inherited a defense that was 25th in yards the prior year, 19th in points allowed, and 28th in defensive DVOA. Over these last 2 seasons, Baltimore has allowed the 2nd fewest points in the NFL, the 6th fewest yards per game, while ranking 1st in defensive DVOA. In 2023, the Ravens became the first team in NFL history to lead the league in fewest points allowed, most sacks, and most takeaways in the same season, the Triple Crown. Much of Macdonald's approach comes from one of his mentors, Wink Martindale, whose hyper-aggressive defense has its origins in the Buddy Ryan 46th Bear defense, which is characterized by pressure, and more pressure. The scheme has evolved over the years and under Martindale, but Macdonald has given it his own particular flavor. One of the core concepts of Macdonald's defense is that what you see is not what you're going to get. Quarterbacks become uncomfortable. Offensive lines become confused. Running backs hurry to pick up blitzers that never arrive. Hot routes get swallowed whole. Offenses around the league just couldn't help themselves. Everyone starts guessing. Every play looks like pure chaos. Every defender, seemingly, potentially, anywhere. Macdonald's predecessor, Martindale, would cause this through cover zero blitzes and just heavy pressure looks in general. Macdonald accomplishes Wink's goal more by presenting the appearance of the blitz through stacked fronts, a tough Sun Tzu-like tactic to anticipate pre-snap. And also Macdonald does a very good job of marrying these coverages to his fronts. Now, more often than not, Macdonald will still end up only rushing 4 guys. But when you're looking down the barrel of that 7 men on the line of scrimmage, there's a general instinct by quarterbacks and offensive lines to adjust your protections. These many men near the line of scrimmage at the snap make both quarterbacks fear the free blitzer and the linemen unsure of their blocking assignment. Post-snap, those extra defenders at the line of scrimmage drop into coverage, but offenses don't know which 4 they're going to be left with as pass rushers. You might get an edge and a defensive tackle to one side of the line dropping to a spot, while the other side of the line gets overloaded, hopefully then manipulating the offensive line to end up blocking ghosts. at least to one side of the line. What's also nasty about this particular defense is its ability to provide lethal pass rushers one-on-one opportunities. These mock blitzes or zone blitz drops cause normal pass protection help like a running back chip on an edge to head elsewhere, say looking into the A gap for a blitzer that isn't there. This is a big part of getting Clowney to pop, as for years Jadeveon would be inundated with chips and double teams, neutralizing his pass rush effectiveness. It works this way for the rest of the defensive tackles and edges. Stacked fronts have a tendency to force protection changes, providing one-on-ones for the rest to go hunt. Though Coach Macdonald has a particular defense, he's not married to scheme as other defensive coaches who can fall victim to these trappings. He's looking to put the players into the role that suits their talents, rather than boxing them up into a specific role within the scheme. The proof is in the pudding. Take Kyle Hamilton, immensely talented on tape. Doesn't test well through the pre-draft process, and so to the Ravens falls at the 14th pick in the first round. Draft pundits grind on the kid for being a tweener. Where are you going to play them, they say. Not fast enough to get it purely done from the safety position. Not big enough to be a linebacker. Well, under Macdonald's tutelage, Hamilton has become the jack of all trades and a rising star in this league. His position is irrelevant when he's all over the field just flat out making plays. For years, no one knew what to do with Jadeveon Clowney. Is he an edge, a 4-3 defensive end, or an outside wide 9? Should we kick him inside to do some 3-tech stuff? Maybe just stand him up in the spinner roll over the guard. This year, Macdonald helped Clowney forge the best, most complete season of his career by pulling those double teams away and letting him rush from the edge where he's at his best. Before Macdonald arrived, linebacker Patrick Queen was trending towards Bustville, USA. Now he's going to sign a contract this offseason for somewhere around $17 million per year. Justin Matabuke was a talented third-round defensive tackle who hadn't had much impact in his first 2 years, and now he's likely to be franchise tagged, if not sign a monster contract extension with the Ravens. Geno Stone looked your run-of-the-mill 7th-rounder through his first 2 years in the league and became overnight one of the best ball-hawking safeties in the NFL. In Chicago, Roquan Smith was a good player. He's been near a great one for the Ravens. Kyle Van Noy is almost 34 years old. He's been around the league since 2014 and yet had arguably the best year of his career in 2024, posting a career-high 9 sacks and getting that done on about half the snaps he tallied when he was a true Blues starter. Veterans like Michael Pierce and safety Marcus Williams continue to ball, while young cats like Adafe Owe and Travis Jones and Malik Harrison are on their rise. Maximizing talent is the name of the game. Flexibility, not rigidity. It's like Bruce Lee said.
Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
The Seahawks just went from the oldest head coach in the NFL to the youngest. But as we saw with the boyish Sean McVay, a young coach can certainly find success. And to Macdonald's credit, he is saying all the right things here out the gate, and he has already started to make smart decisions. Leslie Frazier has won a Super Bowl as a player and as an assistant coach. He's been both coordinator and head coach in the NFL. He's a certified defensive maestro, and he's been the first hire announced by Macdonald as an assistant head coach. Young head coaches in their first go-around often fall prey to pitfalls and first-time blunders as they learn the ropes. Frazier will be that guardian angel on Macdonald's shoulder, providing him that wise voice who has seen it and done it all. This was similar to what Sean McVay had in Wade Phillips when he walked in the door. Phillips was a longtime coach in this league, his father was a head coach in this league, and he was able, it would seem, to speed up McVay's learning process. A forward-thinking philosophy, seeking to utilize the players' talents to their utmost by leaning in on what they do best. A cutting-edge defense that this year alone shredded Kyle Shanahan's offensive attack and made Brock Purdy say mercy. This defense held wonder kid CJ Stroud and the Texans to 10 points or under not once, but twice. Took off Ben Johnson's genius cap and stepped all over it. Neither Trevor Lawrence or Justin Herbert's offenses could manage more than 1 touchdown in their respective games against Macdonald's defense. The Dolphins only cooked up 19 points, which is practically like shutting them down. And then you have the grade A, in-game adjustments Macdonald found in that Chiefs conference championship game to completely shut down that offense in the second half. If I as a coach know my Triple Crown defense has kept Mahomes and company to 17 points on the day, my offense or special teams should be able to handle the rest. Mike Macdonald is a strong presence with new ideas and a track record that promises a bright head coaching future. Those issues that have plagued the Seahawks through the years, both big and small, like undisciplined play or an inability to tackle, will be addressed in a manner that leads me to believe that it will be sooner rather than later before the Seahawks are flying high once again. It was the time for change. This is the right hire, and yes, the Seahawks' future is looking much brighter. My name is Brandon Kane. This is the Hawks Nest. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. But beyond all that, don't you ever forget, go Hawks.